Record button. This is being recorded so that anyone that's not able to join tonight, we can send it out through YouTube or through the team managers, and they can share it with their teams afterwards as well. Thanks for being here. Glad that you could make it. Some more people are joining as we speak. We will go over a little bit of housekeeping as well. I'm going to keep everybody muted. That way the screen stays with me and my presentation. I have to warn the kids when we do the training sessions that there is no Zoom bombing. So please don't draw on my screen or do anything unnecessary. If you do have any questions, there's a chat feature at the bottom that you can use to ask any questions. And I will have time at the end of the presentation to answer any questions that you might have as well. But you may have noticed, or you would have heard a couple of months back, that the club made the decision to join the ECNL on the boys side. Originally, we had it on the girls side. It's been a successful program for the girls. We had the opportunity to move the boys program over to the ECNL, and we did that. And then last week, you would have noticed that the DA announced that their league is collapsing and no longer running effective immediately. So I just felt as if this would be a good time to kind of segue from this season ending and starting to look at what next season is going to look like on the boys side. So I have a presentation that consists of about 7 or 8 slides, just to go over some reasons and some insight on what the ECNL looks like. And again, hopefully it provides a little bit of insight and value to tonight's meeting. If you have questions, ask in the chat. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen with you all. Can somebody just unmute themselves or put it in the chat that they can see my screen so I know we're good to go?
You're good, Lee.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you. How's this going to work if people want to join? There we go. I apologize in advance for any backroom noise that you may hear. My kids are getting ready for bed. So if you hear that, I apologize, but something's not working with my computer. This is my first time hosting a meeting, so I'm not quite sure how this is going to work.
Mom, there are no kids in
Again, if you can keep yourself muted during the presentation, that would be great as well. Perfect. All right, let's give this a go. Here we go. So moving the SRU, moving Santa Rosa United into the Boys ECNL. Some aims for tonight's meeting. What does the ECNL look like on the boys side? An overview of the boys conference and the geographical landscape that is the ECNL. Why the Boys ECNL? We're going to look at the benefits of joining the league and what it does for Santa Rosa United. DA versus ECNL, although I don't want to compare leagues. I just want to go over some of the benefits again of what ECNL is going to offer and how it's going to hold value for our players. Looking at the differences between the two organizations. We're going to look at the NorCal conference. So what does our league look like and the teams or clubs that are entered in our league? There is still ongoing talks about promotion and relegation of the league, which will be new, but I'll touch upon that as we go through the presentation. And then embracing the proven pathway. The league has been successful, and its main aim is getting exposure to boys to college level. And we'll talk about that as well. And then there is a time at the end for questions and everything like that as we continue as well. So first slide is what is the Boys ECNL? The ECNL is composed of both boys and girls now. The girls had been formed for almost 7 or 8 years. And its main core values: innovation, respect, opportunity, development, and excellence. All of this can be found on its website. This to the right is the map of the league, and the teams or the clubs, sorry, that are entered in the league. This is where we are, obviously, with the NorCal conference. There's 6 teams originally. There will be 4 more teams added. I'll let you know which those teams are. That could change, but as of a couple of days ago, I got word of who the teams would be, or the clubs would be. This has grown since last week. For obvious reasons, the DA closed its doors and won't be running a league, and a lot of clubs made the decision to move over to the ECNL. So especially in the Southwest Conference here, I think there were 6 teams added. Crossfire added up in the North. We're bringing 10 clubs into the NorCal area, and there was a lot more movement on the East Coast as well. But that's what the league looks like consistently across the country. The league was formed in 2017 with 57 clubs, and the league was created to give the boys an opportunity to be seen by college coaches. Those of you that have been in the game, the girls' side and the boys' side are completely different when trying to get college into students into colleges. There's a lot more money on the girls' side. There's a lot more colleges on the girls' side. So I wouldn't say it's easier, but there's more opportunity for girls to be seen and to get into college. We want to try and provide the same experience for our boys. This season alone, the league is going to double since it's beginning of the season. So this season, we're going to have over 110 clubs participating. In 2019, there was 4 national events, one in Las Vegas, one in Pennsylvania, one in South Carolina, and Florida. That won't be the case this year for the 2020-21 season. With the big influx of teams on the West Coast, they are looking at holding 2 national showcases on the West Coast and 2 national showcases on the East Coast. That makes it easier for travel and for college boys to be seen. 2 regional events for the U13 and 14 age group. Last year, they were in Palm Coast, Florida, and Richmond, Virginia. And again, I assume that they're going to probably do a regional showcase, if not 2 regional showcases over here on the East Coast, similar to what the U13 and 14 that were in the DA had last season as well. Their identification programs are quite impressive. They have an ECNL Boys National Camp for U16 to U19. They have what's known as the CSP for U15 and U19. I'll explain what that is in the next slide or a couple of slides' time. NorCal PDP is available again for our U13 and U14 players, but it does go from U13 to U19. US Youth Organization of Development Program, ODP, is available to us, and then US Club, the ID2, has its identification, as well as the US Soccer's Youth National Training Center as well. So there's a lot of programs that are new to us, that have been denied to us in the past. But this is what the ECNL kind of looks like geographically, what the league stands for, why it was formed, and it's continuing to get bigger and bigger, and more clubs are trusting the league to help their players go to where they want to go, which is the end target of college. Why the Boys ECNL? Putting our players in a position to succeed with a proven pathway. Play for more. The Boys ECNL provides our membership with more meaningful matches. There's a potential of promotion and relegation, meaning that they'll be playing for more. I think from being in the development academy, for what it's worth, it's a fantastic program, high level of coaching, quality teams. You can't deny that, that we get to play against, but there's something missing. There's that X factor, that's that pressure, there's that feeling that we need to feel in order to continue to develop and get that, ignite the competitive spark in our players. A lot of our teams suffer from being in the DA because there's nothing really to play for, and then they come out at U15 into the MPL, and boom, they're hit with promotion and relegation right away, and it takes us a while to find that. So there'll be more to play for. We'll be led by the best. Clubs play a vital part in development of a person and player. but our coaches are the leaders responsible for setting the standards and showing the way. And we feel that we've put together a coaching staff for next season that we're proud of and that we know is one of the best in the North Bay and can compete in the ECNL. I'm not going to tell you who the coaching staff is tonight, but we will be announcing our coaching slate for the 2020 and 21 season within the coming weeks. But I'm excited to work with the coaches that we have. And I know that they're going to be at their best and we're going to be able to compete with the staff that we've put together. Increased visibility. Our mission as a club for the boys is to make sure that they're not only developing as people first and players second, but also putting them in a position to succeed where they can secure college opportunities. The Boys ECNL provides immeasurable college exposure. And I'd like to show you the reasons why for that as well. National showcases and regional events. The second part of increasing the visibility of our players is the Boys ECNL national events, their showcases and regional events. This allows college scouts from across the country to gather, watch and gain insight into our players. This eventually leads to commitment. So from an early age, scouts get to come and watch the regional events, then they get to watch the national events. They build relationships with the coaching staff, with the players, with the club. And then hopefully they get to know the person and the player that they're wanting to sign and recruit into their program. There's also an added postseason value. So for teams that from each conference within the Boys ECNL have the opportunity to qualify for the national playoffs. So if you finish within the top 4 or 5 of the division, you have a winning percentage. I'm not sure what the criteria is yet, but there's an opportunity to go to a national playoffs where, again, you get to play other clubs from outside of our area, from across the country and compete against some of the best. This provides an added layer of postseason play and exposure for teams. The more chances we get to put our players in front of college coaches, the more opportunity they get to see and play and hopefully like what they see, hopefully getting them to commit to their college for the following seasons. The ECNL versus the US Soccer Development Academy, the difference in organizations and postseasons. The Boys Development Academy regular season is played throughout 18 to 22 games. There's one regional event that the boys get to go to down in Southern California, but there's no outside competitions. There's only U13 and 14 are available to our club. At U15, we transition into the NorCal MPL and up. We're not allowed to do PDP, ODP, or ID2. We're not allowed to participate in them because of the league that we're in or were in. Teams go for long stretches without games. And for me, that wasn't ideal this year. Having to try and find other teams to try and play and scramble. We did it and I didn't mind it. It allowed us to play more games, which is what I want. But for me, it's the league's responsibility to make sure that we have meaningful games on a consistent basis. Potential major changes on the horizon. I obviously did this presentation last week and got it all ready. And then on Thursday, they announced that the league no longer exists. So we kind of saw that coming as a club. The word on the street that was out there that there was some changes. There was talk about MLS clubs leaving, the DA league downsizing. I didn't know that they would make such a quick decision of ripping off the Band-Aid and just collapsing the league itself. And then when we looked at the bigger picture, U15 to U19 was never really a realistic option for Santa Rosa because of the cost that was involved in the program, the travel that was involved in the U15 to U19 age groups. And in my opinion, the program continued to go backwards since we've been involved since 2016. I started with the U12s or the 04s and 05s. We had futsal, we had consistent games on a regular basis. We had a national event, we had a regional event. And each year that we continued with the league, the DA just continued to take things back and just continued to drop the ball on some things. And it just kind of left, what was supposed to be the elite and then the top league around, it wasn't living up to their expectation, in my opinion. Others might feel differently, but when I first joined the league, I thought it was quality. I thought it was very, very good, and you could see the clear separation. Since then, I don't think we had the value for what it's worth. Elite club national leagues, what we're going to get this season for our club and for our players is a regular season played throughout 18 games. There's a 10-team conference, and I'll let you know who those teams are shortly. But the 10-team conference is 9 home games and 9 away games. So that's where the 18 games come from. 1 or 2 national events from U15, 1 or 2 national events for U15 and older. So for the U15 and U19, we'll be required to go to 1 national event. U16 and U17 will be required to go to 2 national events. There'll be 2 regional NorCal showcases for the U16 and U19. So similar to the NPL that they had this year, there was a showcase in Modesto around November time. There was supposed to be a showcase in May for the older boys as well. This year, NorCal want to continue to have us back as an ECNL club. They want us to come to their NorCal showcases. The level of the clubs that we have bring the quality of players, the better quality of players, bring the better quality of college coaches to come and watch. So we'll continue to have the regional showcases put on by NorCal. They're great events. They get very good college coaches from local colleges around California and some from the area that come and watch. So this is a very much a big attraction for us, is because we get not only 1 to 2 national events, we also still continue to get 2 regional events that draw very good high-level colleges that we want to try and get our boys into. The U13 and 14s will get 1 or possibly 2 regional events. I know on the girls' side, they have a local event that is hosted in Davis. And there was a talk that it went so well that they wanted to do another one in the spring, but for obvious reasons, that didn't happen. So we're still waiting to hear if that will happen. NorCal State Cup will be available again for our U13 and U14 teams, which again adds that level of competition, something to play for. Once you get out of the group stages, if you lose, you're out. And again, it adds that level of pressure, opportunity, call it what you will, that edge. But I know from not being in it myself and being in the DA, I've missed the State Cup atmosphere, the environment, what it creates. So I'm looking forward to our U13 and U14 players getting that back. This is an ECNL Conference Super Cup. This is new to us this year. What this is normally, it's a team that is made up of U15 to U19. So you can call it an all-star team, if you will. It's one team of 18 players that come from our U15 and U19 players. This year, it will be open to all of the clubs in our conference. But normally what happens is the ECNL choose a weekend for its conference selection program, which is here. And they bring the 4 best clubs from the league or the 4 best clubs from the conference to compete in this Super Cup. And it's a semi-final and final knockout stage. But this year they're going to bring all 10 teams in. And then the following year, it will be comprised of the top teams in the league or in our conference that gets to play in it. The ECNL Conference Selection Program for our U15 to U19 is another opportunity. Like PDP, it's a selection program where our players, we send to the event and they get trained by some of the league's coaches, and then they get to play against each other. So again, this is a weekend where college coaches get invited out to come and be seen. They get to have the recognition of being selected for the Super Cup or selected for the conference selection program. But a unique twist that we're not quite used to, but one we're looking forward to and for our players to have. PDP, ODP, ID2, US Youth National Training Centers will all be available in the ECNL again, which is great for all age groups from U13 up to U19. We are permitted to enter our own tournaments and other tournaments that we wish to. DA only allowed us to participate in sanctioned events. A platform of play that starts at U13 and goes to U19. For me, this was a big one. If you look at our current platform, U8 to U12 is NorCal, U13 to U14 is DA, U15 to U19 is NPL. A lot of different leagues, a lot of different rules, a lot of different standards. From now on, it goes U8 to U12 NorCal, U13 to U19 ECNL. Simple. Clear pathway, clear leagues, no changes, no rules, high standards, high expectations. But it's clear from U13 to U19 what you're going to get from the product. Ability to play in NorCal with other teams in our club. The DA frowned upon us sending our DA players to play in NorCal games. The ECNL don't mind. It's a US club league. The ECNL is run by US club or is under the umbrella of US club. And once they get carded for the ECNL, they're also carded for the NorCal. So there's no carding issues. You can only play one game a day for the ECNL, but you can play in a NorCal league game as well after that as well. Permitted to play high school season without restriction. The DA at U15 to U19 would not let you play in high school. And there's also postseason showcase for teams that qualify. So that allows you again to, if your team's qualified, there's another opportunity there as well. This is the NorCal conference that we'll be participating in next season. These are the 6 founding members of the league. This is the girls' side right here with Santa Rosa United. That's us, Mustang, Marin FC, San Juan, MVLA, and Davis. That's what our girls' league consists of. NorCal wanted to add clubs in from their league, and they did a review of the clubs that have consistently performed at the highest level over the past 3 years. And these 4 clubs were consistently there. This is Plaza United, Santa Clara Sporting. This is De Anza Force, and it's their second teams that will be playing in this league unless De Anza Force agree to join the ECNL with their first teams. And then this is Atletico Santa Rosa. So these are the 4 teams that have been consistently performing well in the NPL at a high level, and they have been given the opportunity to join our league. These 3 teams, Santa Clara, Plaza, and De Anza, have all accepted their spot and will be joining the league. We're still waiting to hear from Atletico on whether they're trying to, or whether they're wanting to join the league or not. But this is what the league would consist of. So it would be 1 home game and 1 away game in the league. Over to the right here is how the league kind of structure now takes place. So before there was no ECNL, there was a NorCal Champions League, a NorCal NPL, then NorCal State Premier, and then the regional leagues. We get to come out of the DA and jump straight into the ECNL, which is great. Mute yourself tight, there you go. And the way that the promotion and relegation works, there is no promotion for us. We're in the highest league. But the ECNL has a standard for keeping track of your win percentage, your winning percentage, that is. And the club that finishes bottom of this league, and I say club and not team, NPL is based upon teams. So if your team wins, it gets promoted. In the ECNL, it's an elite clubs national league, so it's based upon club. So if our club finishes bottom of the league in winning percentage and we don't win enough games, then we would either be relegated automatically or we would play off against the top club team in the NPL. There's still a lot of gray area with this. We're not sure if it's still going to work. I just wanted to put it out there so you know that it might be an option. But there's still, again, clubs meeting, leagues talking on how it's actually going to look and play out. Just because this is a league based around clubs, this is a league based around teams. So we'll allow NorCal and ECNL to figure that out. But this is what the league's gonna look for. This is what the league's gonna look like next season, with the hope that Atletico do get in. I hope that they get in. I think it adds value to the area. Again, I've been in the DA for the past couple of seasons, and I've missed that rivalry, that game day feeling of playing against your local club. I did it this season with the 06s, and it was fantastic. It was, you could feel the energy, you can feel the environment lifting. There was something to play for. It meant something. And I'm hoping that we get to experience more games like that this season, because it's only going to help produce and develop a love, a passion, and players that can play in, you know, intense environments, which will be good. Couple more slides. So embrace the proven pathway. The destination is college. You know, the ECNL is very much college orientated. It sets up its games, its college showcases, so that we can get the kids in front of the colleges to be seen. So when it comes to being part of the ECNL, college soccer is the target destination for almost every single player in our club. This is the goal for the league and a goal for our club: develop people and players for the collegiate program. Get our players recognized. ECNL national events are the best identification platforms in the country and provides our players with the best at being scouted. ECNL is the dominant supplier of college soccer athletes. Become part of the dominant brand. At their core, the ECNL brand is a platform that fosters a culture of development to lead players down a proven pathway for soccer success, lead credibility of housing elite talent. And then there are a select few that will have what it takes to play professionally, whether domestically or overseas. It's our mission to develop those players in-house and put them in a position to play at the best and to be the best. Santa Rosa United and the ECNL have working relationships with MLS and USL clubs, both locally and regionally. You know, speaking with the San Jose Earthquakes in Sac Republic, we have a very good working relationship. I'm meeting with Sac Republic next week to foster that relationship and see how it works for next season with our club. And also the MLS with the Earthquakes. I have a very good working relationship with their coaching staff, and it's, you know, one of my goals is to get our players in front of those clubs, those leagues, and give them a taste of what that level looks like. So that's the presentation in a nutshell. I apologize if I zoomed through it. But this is recording and out there for people to watch. If there are any questions, I'll open up the chat room. Yes. The only teams that will be transitioning over from the DA to the ECNL are, escape out of this? The only teams that will be transitioning out of the DA into the ECNL are these four clubs here. So Mustang, San Juan, Marin, and United. Plaza and De Anza will also be coming out of the DA. But the rumor is that the MLS are going to have a new league under US youth soccer, and they're going to invite the existing DA clubs to be a part of that. So Breakers, Ballistic, Silicon Valley, De Anza, Earthquakes, and Breakers are the 6 clubs that will be there. So no, they won't be coming over from the DA. They'll stay in their leagues. So that was the new league that the MLS is creating. And it's going to be a 6-team league, or they might invite more other leagues to join. But we already heard that these 9 clubs have committed to be in the ECNL next season. Atletico will be the 10th. It's I assume that the league will be 18 games, and I think the way they'll break it up will be 9 games in the fall, and then 9 games in the spring. There's also State Cup to be added in that as well, plus high school on top. Then I predict that the league will kind of be around 40 to 50 games for our players. 18 with 6 to 25 to 27 games in the ECNL. And then, so it's 18 games plus 6 or 3 regional showcase games So we're looking at about 25 to 30 games for the ECNL on top of high school, so more than enough soccer. Is there going to be multiple age group ECNL teams? Yeah, it starts at U13 and it goes up to all the way up to U19. So six teams in all from our club. So we'll have a representation in the ECNL league from all 6 clubs. The 08s and the 07s will do a similar break to what they had this year. The league will finish around November as the high school teams transition into, as the high school teams move on to high school. We haven't quite worked out what the winter will look like, but we assume either an indoor league or a futsal league, a DA fest, an ECNL festival, or a regional festival that we'll create with the other U13 to U14 teams as well, plus a winter showcase or tournament that you will be going to as well. Possibly in the summer we could still be doing the Davis tournament. Obviously, I don't think that will happen this summer, but it is in our calendar, our season plan, that we would use a college showcase in the summer to help prepare the boys for the start of fall league. We don't know what the summer's going to look like as of right now, so we don't really know if that is the case, but we will be wanting to do a summer tournament or showcase in the summer to help prepare the boys. Yes, kids can play up an age group if invited in the ECNL. That's down to the club's discretion on the player, but you can only play 1 game per day, so you can't play up with the 06s and then come back down and play with the 07s in the same day. Once you've played for 1 team in that day, then that's it. No, there'll only be 1 ECNL team for United. So it'll be 1 U13 team, 1 U14 team, and so on and so forth. So there won't be any multiple teams within that. Again, roster size, we're looking at about 16 to 18 players on the roster. I would like to keep it around 16, with possibly 2 goalkeepers. But again, that comes down to tryouts and needs of teams. And then subbing rules is that ECNL has a no re-entry rule during that half. So if you start the half and you come out 20 minutes in, then you don't play the rest of the half. And it's the same in the second half. So once you come out of the game, you can't re-enter until half time. And then if you come out of the game in the second half, then you won't be able to re-enter again in the second half. So there's no re-entry rule in the ECNL. And that's for U13 all the way up to U19. What would the cost in relation to the DA? Very similar. Very similar. When we first did or got the word of having the opportunity to join the ECNL, one of the first things we looked at was the cost. There's a stigma that the ECNL is expensive, that the travel is a lot, and this was all generated from the girl side. But on the boy side, I've done the similar a spreadsheet where we've looked at travel, tournaments or showcases, and the cost is almost a wash. It's almost the same, a few $100 here or there, give or take, depending on your age group. What we do in the ECNL for travel, 1, to create an experience and an environment and a standard, but also 2, to help lower costs, is when the U15s and U19s travel for national events, they travel with the coach, 2 chaperones, and then the team. The boys share a room. We hire minivans and we travel to the national showcases as a team. Parents are more than welcome to join. We can have more than 2 chaperones. We can have multiple chaperones. But we want to create this team environment and experience for the players of what college looks like and feels like. And a big part of that is putting on your big boy pants and being away from mum and dad for the weekend so that you can focus on soccer. Again, if you can afford it, you're more than welcome to join. But when they're with us, it's a structured weekend with a fixed agenda. I lost my train of thought. Can't do 2 things at once. I can't read questions and answer them at the same time. But it's a fixed agenda where we keep them consistently through games or video analysis or homework or eating and all that type of stuff. Or if there's an event that we can go to as a club as well. So that's how we are able to keep the cost low and help. Not really. I don't. Apart from a summer tournament, don't draw on my screen. Apart from a summer tournament, the other events will be fixed. I don't know what the events are, but I assume that if it's a one national event for the U15s and U19s, it will be on the West Coast, whether that's Vegas, San Diego, or Southern California, or Pacific Northwest, or Phoenix. I'm not quite sure. But if it's 2 national events, again, it will be somewhere on the West Coast that we can that we'll participate in. I don't foresee us traveling to the East Coast to do an event. But again, I don't know the specifics yet. That's why I haven't put up a slide that has schedules or cost or anything, because we're still waiting for the ECNL to finalize its leagues and its events. So then once we get all that information, I'll come back on and do another presentation, and I'll give you more specific details to what that entails. So I'll share that with you later. How do we recruit top players to be competitive and avoid relegation? Yeah, it's a good question. We're hampered right now from this COVID situation. But what we do know is we will be promoting the league through our social revenue avenues. There is excitement about the league. Our coaches have already heard of players wanting to come and be a part of it. So we hope that we can attract players from outside. Other than that, we'll have to continue to foster our own and work to make sure that doesn't happen. Yes, we're planning on having tryouts. When that is, we don't know. We don't know when we'll be back on the field. We do know that we will be on the field at some point. But we will be having tryouts and giving players the opportunity to be on the team for next season. Okay, I get what you mean now, Cisco. Sorry, mate. There won't be a U15 ECNL team and a U15 NPL team. If you look at the conference page, there'll be a U15 ECNL team here, and then we'll probably have a U15 team in the regional league or state premier. They can promote their way up into the NPL, to which then we could have a U15 ECNL team and we could have a U15 NPL team. But going off our current teams right now, we could have the 08s might have an ECNL and an NPL team. The 07s will have an ECNL and a regional league. The 06s are the same. The 05s and 04s and 03s will start in a regional league or a state premier league. And again, if they win, they can be moved up and promoted into the NPL, and we can stay in the regional league as well. That's a subjective question that I'm not going to answer on this platform. That's your opinion on whether you think they deserve to be at the DA level or not. We held tryouts last season, and we felt as if every player selected for the program deserved to be there. The tryout period will be set by NorCal. The ECNL opens its windows a little early for tryouts because it has to encompass the whole national event, but we fall under the NorCal umbrella. So we'll put our tryout period in line with NorCal. What that is, when that will be, again, I don't know, just because I honestly don't know what the league or when we're going to be able to come back out of COVID, whether we get to have a condensed season, whether we get to just play some scrimmages, some local games, and then head into tryouts around beginning of July, middle of the July, end of July. I'm hoping it's sometime in July. If it's August, then we'll hold tryouts in August, and then the season will get underway at the end of August, beginning of September. So that's when we'll hopefully be able to have the tryouts. O3s will join the O2s next season, just like the O2s join the O1s next season, and the O3s will play in the ECNL. And then if we have an O3, O2 Premier team, they'll play in the regional league. But the O3, O2 ECNL team will obviously play in the ECNL league. No, the girls aren't doing. It's a good question, but no, the girls ain't part of the boys. It's a separate league altogether in terms of the girls' clubs that are in it. So these 4 clubs here will not be in the girls' league. It will just be these 6 clubs, and there is no promotion and relegation on the girls' side. We are the guinea pig, if you will, and we'll be the tester to see how that works. If they even decide to do promotion relegation, we don't know if that's actually going to happen yet. But they'll only calculate on the boys' side. If we do get relegated, we have an opportunity to obviously win our way back in the following season, but we don't lose the national and regional events. As a club, we'll continue and have the opportunity to go and participate in the national and regional events if we choose to. So it's kind of like a parachute out of the league, although we won't be playing the teams on a consistent basis. We'll have new teams to play. We would still have the opportunity to go and play in regional showcases and national showcases to give our boys the exposure. And again, the bigger picture is we're trying to give them a platform to move on to college and beyond as well. So that won't be taken away as well. Just scrolling back just to make sure I didn't miss any questions that might have been from someone before. Yes, hi Lufu, I'll be sharing this out after the meeting is finished. I'll share with you the cost in the next presentation that we do. Once I get all of the information in front of me, I'll share the cost of what it would look like if we were to stay in the NPL and what it would look like now that we're joining the ECNL. Great, thanks, appreciate the feedback. Most of you have my contact information. And again, I'm pretty much available for conversation, for email, for text messages. I feel excited about the league. I think it adds great value. I think it allows us to go in the direction that I want to bring the boys program into. I know that the coaching staff that we have next season are excited about it and the opportunity to perform in this league. I think it's going to be an exciting one as well, and I look forward to working with the guys. I would say 80% of the games will be turf fields that we play on. If you've ever headed out to Phoenix, they have fantastic grass fields that play like turf anyway. So yeah, there's a standard of fields need to be of a certain quality. Referees are provided by the league. Whether they're quality or not is your opinion. but there's an expectation that the ECNL refs are the same refs that referee our DA games and NPL games as well. So, guys, I appreciate your time. Thank you for being on with me. I will share this presentation later. And again, if you have any questions, please feel free to email me, contact me, and I'm looking forward to it. There will be a follow-up presentation in a couple of weeks once more information comes available. But until then, stay positive, stay safe, and I'll see everybody soon. Thank you, guys.